Jai Sri Narayan. Jai Sri Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagadguru Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi. And I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Narayan. I welcome on this first day of Navaratri Mother Lakshmi in a form as Mother Kali, which we will be celebrating for the next 3 days. I welcome those of you that are seated here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham, and I welcome those that's watching this discourse live, locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted in the various groups around the world subsequently. To start off and to clarify my position at the Sri Narayan Dham for celebrating Navaratri on this day, I'm going to give a brief background. Navaratri in India is celebrated twofold. In some parts of India, in these 9 days, the Ramayan is read. And in some part of India, in these 9 days, the Devi Mahatmyam is read. So, to clarify my position, I fall under the auspices, immediate auspices of my Guru, Swami Sudarshan Acharyaji Maharaj. And as his disciple, I would follow what he followed during Navaratri. And during Navaratri, this period, at the Sri Sampradaya Ashram in India, the Devi Mahatmyam is celebrated. And in lieu of that, I will be doing this 9 days of Navaratri in accordance with what my Guru did and what is currently happening at the Sri Sampradaya Ashram. And that is, we will extol Mother Lakshmi in 3 manifestations. On the first day, or the first 3 days, a manifestation as Mother Kali. On the next 3 days, as herself, Mother Lakshmi, and the last 3 days, as Mother Saraswati. These traditions have been followed for a very long time. There is no conflict in following these traditions in the Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya. It is a matter of choice on these days which of these 2 ways of celebrating these days will be upheld by the various ashrams of Sri Ramanuj around the world. So there is no conflict of interest. It is a matter of choice, and my choice comes from the choice that my Guru took. To bring it into a more clearer perspective, the Sri Sampradaya is headed by none other than Mother Lakshmi herself. And I'm going to use that aspect in celebrating these entire 9 days. It is Mother Lakshmi who appeals to Lord Narayan in the ultimate reality to accept us, the fallen souls, back into Vaikuntha. And this appeal is made by Mother Lakshmi in her original form in Vaikuntha. So, in accordance with that aspect and the fact that this Sampradaya is the only Sampradaya that's run or headed by the mother form. This is the Sri Sampradaya. It's headed by the mother form, the eternal consort of Lord Narayan. Mother Lakshmi exists eternally with Lord Narayan. All the time. Mother Lakshmi exists eternally with Lord Narayan. The individual souls exist eternally with Lord Narayan. And material nature exists eternally with Lord Narayan. These are eternal existence. Eternal means there was no beginning and there'll never be an end. So Mother Lakshmi always existed. Mother Lakshmi always existed as the eternal consort of Lord Narayan. There was not a time that she did not exist as an eternal consort of Lord Narayan. This teachings that I give you, this Sri Sampradaya, the head of this Sampradaya is Mother Lakshmi. And as I've stated earlier, this is the only Sampradaya that is headed by a mother form. It's headed by Mother Lakshmi herself. Mother Lakshmi exists eternally. There is no creation and dissolution relative to Mother Lakshmi. In lieu of that, this Sampradaya is eternal. This Sampradaya is eternal because its controller is eternal. You understand? Lord Brahma only makes his appearance at creation and he disappears at dissolution. The Brahma Sampradaya is only created, although existing, only comes into existence when creation takes place. The Kumara Sampradaya only comes into existence when creation takes place, and the Rudra Sampradaya only comes into existence when creation takes place. The Sri Sampradaya, although existing eternally with Mother Lakshmi, comes into existence during creation. Hence, the Sri Sampradaya is the principal Sampradaya. Principal Sampradaya. What does principal mean?
The main Sampradaya.
The main Sampradaya. The Sri Sampradaya, in terms of our spiritual hierarchy, is the main Sampradaya. Does it make sense? The highest in hierarchy, that university, Sampradaya is a spiritual university. The highest higher in the hierarchy of spirituality should be governing the principal Sampradaya. Does it make sense? Is it logical? Does it make sense that the highest in the hierarchy should be governing the principal Sampradaya? So Mother Lakshmi and the Sri Sampradaya through which I am preaching today is the highest spiritual university that is found in Sanatan Dham. The other university was supposed to preach this same absolute truth. However, during the course of time, as at this current state, in this 28th Kali Yuga, of which 5,000 years have elapsed already, there is a general state of confusion in Sanatana Dharma. Is there not? Sitting today, Sanatana Dharma has deviated from its 4 spiritual sources, has it not? People do not know that there are 4 origins of which Sanatana Dharma exists. The principal origin, the Sri Sampradaya, and subordinate to the Sri Sampradaya, the Brahma Sampradaya, the Kumara Sampradaya, and the Rudra Sampradaya. Existent today is the Brahma Sampradaya. Currently existing is the Brahma Sampradaya, of which ISKCON is a branch. ISKCON is a branch of the Brahma Sampradaya. In the Sri Sampradaya itself, after Lord Sri Ramanuj appeared, Ramananda, and that is also a branch of the Sri Sampradaya. In that branch of the Sri Sampradaya, the Ishta Devta, Lord Raam, is extolled as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Mother Sita is extolled as the consort of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his Ishta Devta was Lord Sri Krishna himself, and he worshipped Lord Sri Krishna and Radha as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the consort. However, underlying all of this, Lord Narayan is the source of both Lord Raam and Lord Krishna, and Mother Lakshmi is the source of both Mother Sita and Radha. So we have to clarify this timelessly, because people get stuck into understanding misunderstanding the Ishta Devta, and they believe the Ishta Devta to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the consort. So we will use these 9 days to continue our exposition of Vishishtadvaita. Vishishtadvaita means everything that exists is God. Vishishtadvaita simply means everything that exists in God. There is no existence out of God. That is simply Vishishtadvaita. That whatever exists in God. So we will continue expounding this supreme truth through the various scriptures that are deemed authorized in Sanatana Dharma. And we stated earlier that there are 3 scriptures that are authorized in Sanatana Dharma, and they are
The Vedas,
the Vedas,
the Bhagavad Gita,
the Bhagavad Gita,
Brahma Sutras.
and the Vedanta Sutras, also called the Brahma Sutras. These are 3 authorized scriptures in Sanatana Dharma, and those that were supposed to be following Sanatana Dharma rigidly are those that are called colloquially Hindus. So it means to be a Hindu, you have to be bound by scripture, and that scripture is called the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Vedanta Sutras. These are 4 or 3 authorized scriptures. The purport. The purport. What is the meaning of purport?
The summary. The summary.
What type of summary? Devashni, what is the meaning of purport? We didn't do many satsangs, so I believe you've been learning. So what is the meaning of purport? Somebody find it quickly. What do you think should be the meaning of purport? Sorry? What part of something? What should it describe?
The essence of it.
The true essence of the verse. Each verse, the purport must explain the verse in its real form. You understand? If I say 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, and if that's a verse, then if you want to explain that verse in a purport, you must say 1 orange taken together with another orange will give you how many oranges? 2 oranges. The purport must explain the main verse with its exact meaning in a simpler way. That is a purport. And the purport of the whole Vedas is the Vishnu Puran. Is the Vishnu Puran. So when you read the Vishnu Puran, it will simplify the verses that are contained within the Vedas itself. The Mahabharata, when you read the Mahabharata, it will give you the true purport and essence of the entire Vedas in serial form. In serial form, where God Himself incarnates and enacts the Vedas itself. So, the Bhagavad Gita is the purport of the Upanishads. It is the essence of the Upanishads, spoken by whom? Who? And who is Lord Sri Krishna? He is Lord Narayan himself. And who compiled all of the Vedas? And who is Veda Vyas? Lord Narayan himself. Now, after Veda Vyas compiled all of the Vedas, then Lord Narayan incarnated as Lord Sri Krishna, and he gave a verbal purport. He gave a verbal purport of the Upanishads. He explained in the Bhagavad Gita the essence of the Upanishads. And for this reason, the Bhagavad Gita is also called Gita Upanishad. The Bhagavad Gita is also called the Gita Upanishad. You understand? Can you see the beauty of understanding Sanatana Dharma when it is unpacked scripturally? Can you feel the beauty of Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism when it is unpacked scripturally? In the way that we are doing now. Because in this session, you can remove any doubt, both on live feed and physically here, and when this discourse is posted in the various groups, then in either the comment section or on Messenger, any doubt can be clarified. The state of confusion in Sanatana Dharma that is currently prevalent, and every one of you in this ashram know why. Why is there confusion at this point in time? Sita, let's start from you.
Because our past, we wasn't educated, we were not educated to the scriptures. That's why I was confused on my religion.
You think that's a good answer, Dana? Sorry? Okay, so Sita, give your explanation to Dana. You want to sit closer, Dana? Come sit closer is the meaning of Upanishad. You want to sit closer to Sita?
Okay. I think I was confused about my religion because I was ignorant of the scriptures, and you see, I was listening to many discourses and everyone is giving different views of things, and that's why I got confused. So I didn't know what to follow, but now I'm very certain what I'm following.
Okay. Somebody would say she was paid to give this answer. Dana? You heard? Okay. What is your purport of her answer?
What she says is that she was ignorant before. She didn't understand what was going on. Until she came to satsang, she learned from the Guru, and now she understands what is going on.
Okay, now what is your reason for being ignorant?
My confusion is because all the people were telling me different stories about religion. Until I found my Guru, and my Guru put me on the straight path.
How do you know that this story that I am giving is not like the other stories you have been getting, both you and Sita?
Sir, my soul is telling me that what you're telling me is true.
Can I experience that, what your soul is telling you?
Yes, sir, you can.
I'm not experiencing it. So in the Sri Sampradaya, we do not accept an explanation that cannot be experienced practically by that person who is being given that information. In the Sri Sampradaya, we do not accept that which cannot be experienced. You think it's fair? Or you think it's unfair? You think it's fair? This is why we refute the Advaita philosophy of Adi Shankar Acharya, because we cannot experience it. Can you experience that you are an illusion? Dana? Because if you smack yourself, that slap will be and real. And real. So according to Adi Shankar Acharya, only God is real and this universe is an illusion. All the souls are God Himself. All the souls are God Himself, who is now ignorant. Who is now ignorant, but through scriptural knowledge, God Himself will be liberated and merge into Himself. How confusing. Because the scripture should also be illusion, isn't it? The entire universe is an illusion, then the scripture must also be an illusion. Because we cannot experience it. And this is why we also refute the Dvaita philosophy. Why we refute the Dvaita philosophy? Because in the Dvaita philosophy they say you can be the same and different at the same time. Can you experience being the same and different with God at the same time? Can you experience it? You either the same or different. You cannot experience being the same and different at the same time. So we reject whatever cannot be experienced. The Sri Sampradaya is very, very practical. In the Sri Sampradaya, this world is not an illusion. When you get a tight smack, it was really a tight smack. Alright? Some illusion didn't smack you. And whatever is stated in the scripture, which is authorized, is not discarded. Not even one sentence. Not even one sentence in the scripture can be discarded. You understand? Why would, if you remove a step in a mathematical equation, what happens to the result? Will you get the right answer? If there are 10 steps in a formula in maths, and you like 5 steps, you don't like the other 5 steps, it doesn't appeal to you. And many of us in maths didn't like a whole lot of steps. Is it true or not? And if we reject those steps that we do not like, what happens to the formula as per the textbook? What happens to the formula in the textbook? There is a diversion now, isn't, of the original textbook. If you remove 5 steps from there, will you get the same result that the textbook will give you? Why? Because you altered it. The scriptures cannot be altered. Scriptures cannot be altered. In the Sri Sampradaya, every sentence in the Upanishads, in the Vedanta Sutra, and in the Bhagavad Gita is accepted as 100%. These two philosophies that seemingly exist, they have rejected two-thirds of the Upanishad to expound their philosophy. They have rejected two-thirds of the Upanishads to expound their philosophy. And this has happened because knowledge was not at the fingertips of the world. So if somebody told you, you are God, when you die, your soul will merge in God, because the Vedas state so, then what would you do? If you do not have the Vedas, if you do not have the Bhagavad Gita, if you do not have the Upanishads, and if you do not have the Brahma or Vedanta Sutras, what would you do when you see a man striped like me telling you, Tivashni, that you are Lord Narayan? Tivashni? You'll believe it, isn't? Why? Because you do not have this information on hand. But today, in this world of technology, do you have this information on hand? You have the Vedanta Sutra? You have it? Yes. You have the Bhagavad Gita? Yes. Within a few seconds, anyone can access. I'm going to do 3 verses from 3 of the Bhagavad Gitas to refute the other 2 philosophies as false. Alright, and I'm going to show you how. And you can refute it yourself. Who? Now you don't need the Guru to refute. Who can refute? Guru will only point the way. Guru is like policeman. Stop, red light. Arrow, green light. Move this way. Who's doing the moving? You. You don't listen to the Guru. You hit a red light, what will happen? Crash. You follow the green flashing arrow, you'll be safe. Choice is whose? Yours. When the policeman, when he finishes doing his work, he goes home. All those cars that listen to him are safe, and if they follow the road markings and instructions, they'll always be safe. You understand? So similarly, the Guru is pointing you in the right direction. What has all this got to do with day 1 of the Navaratri? Rishi. Yes. Because right now, today, in a 10-kilometer radius from me, Navaratri is being celebrated in many, many halls. Great people are lined to, or so-called great people are lined to, hall full with people. because it is human nature, especially in this period of Navaratri, where people are enticed. People are enticed by those who do not know, by those who do not know, into making huge sacrifices and donations. Around 10 kilometers from me now, right round, halls will be minting it. They will be minting it. You know what minting means? There'll be huge havans taking place. Selected people will sit in these havans and they'll pay a huge sum of money. The more closer you are to these organizers, they value you by your car and your bank balance. The richest and the most materially opulent will sit first in that main hour. And they'll all put in a few thousand, believing that this havan will give them hundreds of thousands more than they put in there. And in Navaratri, in South Africa, not too far away, just 10 kilometers in radius around me, today, people are sitting getting enticed. On the 10th day, they back to square one. They back to square one. No Mother Durga. No Mother Durga. Bank balance got depleted instead of that 10 times higher and 20 times higher. You came limping in the satsang, you walk out limping. Because people are ignorant of the absolute truth. So it is important, before teaching you what Navaratri is, to teach you the basic truth first. Don't you think? When you know the basic truth, then you can understand supplementary and relative truths conjoined with the absolute truth. All of you understand? And for this reason, the Sri Sampradaya uses these days to educate you spiritually. To educate you spiritually. What is the meaning of spirit? Spirituality. When are you getting my Wi-Fi? Those people that volunteered last week, put your hands up. Rahil, two more, Nilendri and Hemita. When is this ashram getting the Wi-Fi? What is the meaning of spirituality?
Can I read it?
Yes.
Spirituality is a broad concept with room for many perspectives. In general, it includes a sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves, and it typically involves a search for meaning in life. As such, it is a universal human experience, something that touches us all.
Okay. So this is an English definition of spirituality, but the explanation is esoteric. What does esoteric means? Only few people can understand. Only few people can understand. In Sanatana Dharma, spirituality means knowing your soul. Knowing your soul. Spirituality means to start knowing your soul, because the soul is the definition of spirituality. All living entities are spirit, all non-living entities are. What's opposite to spirit? Sita? Matter. Spirit and matter. Spirituality will mean heading towards that which is spirit. It starts with the soul and it ends with the super soul. Who is the super soul? Lord Srimana. So spirituality must now take you away from matter. Spirituality must take you away from matter. When you worship Mother Durga in the form of sacrifices, are you becoming spiritual or are you remaining material? You are remaining material. So let us see what the instructions are. From whom? From the Devi Mahatmyam itself. From the Devi Mahatmyam itself. Whether they are asking us to do huge havans or whether they are asking us to become spiritual. Because if you celebrate in Navaratri with the three mother forms, then that source for that celebration must be the Devi Mahatmyam, isn't it? And let's see what the Devi Mahatmyam is saying. So I'm going to open. The Devi Mahatmyam is found in the Markandeya Purana. The Devi Mahatmyam, 700 verses, they are found in the Markandeya Purana. And in the Markandeya Purana, Lord Brahma extols the mother as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I've explained previously, in the Sri Sampradaya we accept for the purposes of authority 6 Puranas that are written in Satagun. How many Puranas are there in all? 18. There are in Lord Brahma extols Lord Narayan in Satagun. He extols himself in Rajogun, and he extols Lord Shiva in Tamogun. And he extols the mother form in mixed guna, when he is in between Tamo and Rajagun. You understand? all of you understand, although these Puranas will be rejected because they are spoken in Rajagun, Tamogun or mixed gun, those aspects that are not contradictory to the Vedas, those aspects within these Puranas that do not contradict the Vedas, it's logical to accept them. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Those verses in these Puranas that are inherently rejected, but certain verses that are not in contradiction to the Puranas will be accepted. Are you finding it difficult to understand that? Anyone finding it difficult to understand that? Natasha? Are you eating salt? Today is Natasha's 1 year. Turn your camera around. Today is Natasha's 1 year. She joined us last year on the first day of Navaratri. I asked them to turn the camera around so that Yatin can go back, Viswadhar can go back to the very first satsang and show how you have progressed in terms of weight. You can come back, Anita. Alright? And you can, in the comment section, from the video there is a way where you can take snapshots. So you will see how many times bigger she was last year when she was practicing ignorance. When she was practicing ignorance because she was not having salt. And now this year she's having salt, okay, and she has gone half a size that she originally joined us. From 1,000 kilos, now she's 500 kilos. And then she is the example. She is the living example on how to become spiritual. Okay, are there any questions up until this point? Anyone? Yeah, or that's viewing this discourse? Any questions? You buy right in the back. You, the hat. No question. Tana, any questions? Rahil, any questions? Strini, any questions? Yes?
How do we give our respect to the mother at home? Like it in our normal sense, like, when we don't, in what way do we offer prayer, like, for the 9 days, besides the satsang?
Like we normally do. You don't have to do anything ritualistic. Okay? You don't have to. You can save that thousands of puris. Alright? You can save all of that. You just pay your obeisances. We respecting them in this 9 days as we respected our ancestors in the preceding 16 days. Now we are respecting the mother form in the 9 days. Okay? You're supposed to be respecting the mother form without even questioning, because this Sampradaya, Mother Lakshmi, is the head of this Sampradaya. She is the boss. Alright? maybe you have not paid enough attention to that fact, and that's why you're not sitting with a Lamborghini outside, because I have lowered the driveway. Those of you that came down, even a Lamborghini, a low Lamborghini can just glide through and park outside. Alright? Are there any questions? So I'm going to read a few verses from the Devi Mahatmyam that I have access to. Okay? This is the Devi Mahatmyam. I was trying to look for a discourse by my Guruji, and I'm going to see if I can research, or I'll ask somebody to go on the Sri Siddhartha website and see and find a discourse that he gave during these 9 days. And I'll bring in his discourse and we'll discuss it within these 9 days. Right? Just to keep that connect. But in this capacity as a Sri Narayan Dham, I will continue on the spiritual aspect. Remember, many people are deluded because it is an inherent nature of those that's practicing Sanatana Dharma, the word Havan. The word Havan somehow supersedes the word Narayan. The word Havan, Sita is really enjoying herself. Guru hit the nail on Sita's head and many other heads, I'm sure, also around the world. The word Havan has superseded the word Narayan. And wherever there's a Havan, people flock to Havan. To burn Havan Samadhi. And they just feel, I've accomplished. They can sit in a hall or a tent, smoked wood Havan for 3 or 4 hours or even 5 hours. Okay? Suffocating in that heat. But they will make sure that they go take that Havan Samagri in their hand, not knowing what they are saying, because the priests themselves, very few understand what they are saying, because they don't explain this in English. Alright? So the blind leading the blind. Somehow South African Hindus and Havan okay, I could have done a huge Havan today outside it. I have the capacity. Look, right round, we have 4,000 squares. I can build a beautiful Havan place outside. And I can have hundreds of devotees throwing Havan Samagri away. Okay, I have a bona fide Goshala in the back, 2 Brahman cows. Alright? The ceremony done as per Vedic traditions from the Sri Sampradaya itself. But it is not commercial. It is not commercial. We are not selling the souls of our Go-Matas to make money. This is not a money-making scheme. This is a spiritual upliftment center where We want you to unite with your Maker. We want you to unite with your Maker. All of you understand? So this is the reason why we won't be enticing people through huge hounds. We don't want their money. We want to give them prosperity. And prosperity is not only money, it's a package deal. Health, wealth, and prosperity should be union with your Maker. Union with your Maker. All of you understand? Each and every one. Are there any questions? That's all you need to do, Krishna Ramanuj Das. That's all you need to do. I'm sure I disappointed you because you came from the first two part of the Vedas.
No, Acharyaji, the question was also that the people who know more.
Okay, so I'm sure the entire world learned today. So I'm just going to do one or two verses from the Devi Mahatmyam. So it starts off with Markandeya Uvaka. Alright, it starts off with Markandeya Uvaka, and I'm going to read number 1. Devi Kavach. And Markandeya said, verse 1, tell me the most concealed armor in this world which protects men in all respects and have not been revealed to anyone as yet. Number 2, O learned one, and this is Brahma. Brahma said, O learned one, there is one such sacred and most concealed armor of Goddess which is helpful to all beings, O man of wisdom. Please listen to that. Then he describes the goddess in the following verses. And I'm going to read number 3. O Devi, destroyer of demons Madhu and Kaitaba, giver of boon to Brahma, I bow down to you. Give me spiritual beauty, victory against anti-spiritual forces, success in spiritual life, and destroy my enemies in the form of passion, anger, hatred, etc. And this verse is repeated from 3 right up to 26. And I'm reading verse 26. O Devi, daughter of mountain Himalaya, who helps to cross this uncrossable ocean of samsara, give me spiritual beauty, victory against anti-spiritual forces, success in spiritual life, and destroy my enemies in the form of passion, anger, hatred, etc. So, 23 opening verses of this Devi Mahatmyam. What is it saying? What are these 23 verses directing you? Nikhil? What word is used 3 times in each verse? Spiritual beauty, spiritual beauty, spiritual knowledge, and let me read again. Give me spiritual beauty, victory against anti-spiritual forces. What are anti-spiritual forces? No, there's specific here with the vices. He says, in spiritual life, and destroy my enemies in the form of passion, anger, hatred, etc. So that will cover vices. Give me spiritual beauty and victory against anti-spiritual forces. What is opposite to spiritual? Anti means opposite. Ritual. Ritual. When you do rituals, you are opposite to spiritual. Natasha. Natasha is looking as guilty as a. She did a 500 puris. She got at 4 o'clock this morning. All right. Can you see the source itself, the source of this Navaratri? The source of this Navaratri is the Devi Mahatmyam. It is the source. If the source is telling you to get spiritual, the source is telling you to get spiritual. This is now the verses that are not in conflict with
The Vedas.
the Upanishads, because the entire Upanishads is based to make you spiritual, and I am now reading this verse which is not in conflict with the Upanishad. You understand? So in this Navaratri, what should be your aim?
To become spiritual.
To become spiritual. Whose instruction is it that you must now turn towards spirituality? It is the mother form that we are celebrating during these 9 days. Logic, Nikhil? Is there logic? You think the Guru is saying his own things? Why you don't think the Guru is saying his own things? Why? Because I just read from the Devi Mahatmyam itself, and you can go now after this satsang. This knowledge is where? On the internet. You have airtime? Even before this discourse is over, you can see whether the Guru gave you his own instruction or whether the Guru verified his instruction and corroborated it with scripture itself. Do you understand? When a Guru corroborates with scripture, it means you are in the right satsang. And the scripture must not be any scripture, because lots of scriptures are found in prayer shops. Are those scriptures? Scriptures must be scriptures that are authorized in Sanatana Dharma, and those scriptures must be the Vedas, the Vedanta Sutra, and
Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. So let's get to the Bhagavad Gita itself in conclusion. And we're concluding by stating that the knowledge given through the Guru Parampara or the disciplic succession of the Sri Ramanuj Sampradaya, as expounded 1000 years ago by Lord Sri Ramanuj himself from his temple in Sri Rangam, South India. In Sri Rangam, South India, that knowledge that he expounded, of which the purport is called Vishishtadvaita, is unparalleled, unsurpassed, and the absolute truth in Sanatana Dharma or Hinduism. Any other philosophy, if it is not in accordance with that as expounded by Lord Sri Ramanuj, will be refuted as false. Will be refuted as false. And when we refute anything that is refuted, how do you refute?
With love.
With love? But more than love?
Evidence.
Evidence. First you find the evidence, then you say, Bhai, I have this evidence on hand that philosophy that you have been following was misinterpreted, and here is the evidence. Okay? Just before I left the material world, there was a program called NCI. Does it still exist? Yeah. Doesn't exist anymore. Who's watching? Ashilka, you watch. Who else watched NCIS? Dana? Anyone else? NCIS is absolute evidence. Absolute evidence. Okay? If you murdered somebody, then NCIS will process that strand of hair you foolishly left. You wiped everything, but you left a strand of the hair from your nostril when you were breathing. Alright? And when they verify that, and they find, and they point you in at the place of the crime, and you are linked and you are charged with murder. It's called what type of evidence?
Forensic.
Forensic and? Can that evidence be disputed?
DNA.
So, how many types of evidence you get? evidence that can be disputed and evidence that cannot be disputed. So I'm giving you evidence that cannot be disputed, okay? Because what is Vishishtadvaita? You have to start at the basic of a foundation of the philosophy. So there are three, according to the internet, it is stated there are three philosophies, sub-philosophies in Vedanta, according to internet and Wikipedia, all right? But we are saying that there is only one purport to Vedanta, and that purport to Vedanta is Vishishtadvaita as expounded by Lord Sri Ramanuj in his 100th year. When Lord Sri Ramanuj was 100 years, he completed the Sri Bhashya, and it took him 60 years to complete the Sri Bhashya, which is the purport of the entire Vedas. And in an investigation, you must leave not one stone unturned. And this is why it took him 60 years. Because he stated that in the Vedas, in the authorized Vedas, not even one sentence should be discarded. All of you understand? So I'm going to read what is the essence of Vishishtadvaita. The philosophy, the building, the foundation block of Vishishtadvaita, or these three philosophies. Advaita states that the soul and God is one, the universe is superimposed on God as an illusion. That is Advaita. Dvaita states that God, the soul, and the universes or the material nature is distinctly separate, but controlled by God. The Vishishtadvaita purport of this is that everything that exists in God. So we have to find an authority. We have to find in one of these three scriptures an authority that states whatever exists in God. Don't you think? We have to find that authority. So one of the authorities is the Bhagavad Gita. So I've got three Bhagavad Gitas here. One is by Swami Sivananda, who is an Advaitin. He is a follower of Sri Adi Shankar. So his commentary will be monism. Dvaita means monism. Vishishtadvaita means qualified monism. And Dvaita means dualism. Or Advaita means unity. Vishishtadvaita means unity and plurality, and Dvaita means plurality. Alright? So I'm taking a verse that has been translated by these three different philosophers. I'm taking a verse that has been translated from Sanskrit to English by these three different philosophers. So I'm going to start with the Advaita philosopher. I'm reading from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11. Chapter 11, verse 13. Verse 13. Chapter 11, verse 13, from the Bhagavad Gita of Swami Sivananda, who represents the Advaita school of philosophy. And this is what he translates. There, in the body of the God of gods, Arjuna then saw the whole universe resting in the one with its many groups. What did he translate? What did he translate?
Everything is in God.
Who translated this? Who?
Swami Sivananda.
Who is Swami Sivananda? Which philosophy is following?
Advaita.
Advaita. Alright. And in which book is this translation?
The Bhagavad Gita.
In the Bhagavad Gita. So he is agreeing that Vishishtadvaita is the supreme absolute philosophy. Is he not? Is he not? Who translated this verse? Who is stating now that whatever exists in God? Who is stating this? And he is which means he has now conceded through this translation that Vishishtadvaita is the absolute purport of
Vedanta.
Vedanta. Can you see? Can you see? Who is not seeing this? Can you understand the complexity of being a guru in Vishishtadvaita? Can you see the dilemma that I am faced? Because for me to prove the absolute, I have to disprove those philosophies that are not absolute. This is a tradition that's happening from time immemorial. It starts in the Vedanta Sutra itself, where 5,000 years ago, Lord Narayan, in his form as Vedavyas, also disputes philosophies that are not coherent with Vedanta philosophy itself. Okay? You understand? Let's cancel this call. You understand? All of you understand? Then I'm going to read a verse call them back. Outside. Then I'm going to read a verse from the Dvaita philosophy by Swami Prabhupada, the same verse. Verse 13. And he states, at that time Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord, the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. You read this verse again. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. So he interprets that the Lord has a form, a universal form. The Lord has a universal form, and in that form, situated in one place within the Lord, the universe was divided into thousands and thousands. What is he confirming in this verse? He is confirming the Vishishtadvaita philosophy that whatever exists in God. Is he not confirming it? Is he not confirming it? You understand? So both the Advaita and the Dvaita both agree that the three authorities is Bhagavad Gita, Vedanta Sutras, and the Vedas. And by confirming this verse, who shows Arjuna this form? Who? Lord Sri. And who is Lord Sri Krishna? Lord Narayan. So Lord Narayan has shown his form to who? Arjuna. Lord Narayan has shown this form to Arjuna. Lord Narayan, by showing this form to Arjuna, confirms which philosophy? Because he is the source of the Vishishtadvaita. In his form as Vedavyas, he states that whatever exists in him. Then he shows this form to Arjuna. The Advaita philosophers accept the Bhagavad Gita as authority and have interpreted this Vishishtadvaita purport. The Dvaita philosophers has accepted the Bhagavad Gita as an authority in Vedanta, and they have also accepted this verse. And this is why I am explaining to you that Lord Sri Ramanuj took 60 years of his life. I'm giving this discourse very simply in maybe an hour, 60 minutes. But he took 60 years. He kept the Bhagavad Gita there, he kept the Mahabharata there, he kept the Vishnu Puran, he kept the 108 Upanishads, and he kept the Vedanta Sutras. Then he went through each sentence, each verse, and he explained it in such a way that there is absolutely not one contradiction in Vishishtadvaita. You understand? You think if God incarnates and compiles knowledge which is his very essence, can there be a contradiction in God? Can there be a contradiction in God? As I explained earlier on, in a mathematics equation, there is a formula with 10 steps. If you do not like 5 steps and you remove the 5 steps because it does not make sense to you, at the end of that paper, will your result be the same as that who used the 10 steps without removing any steps of the equation to that removed 5 steps? Will it be the same? No. So whose sum will be marked 100%? That followed every step that is compulsory in the equation. Similarly, those who follow every step of these 4 authorized scriptures is the only absolute system. If you reject, for whatever reason, any aspect of these 3 authorized scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedanta Sutra, and the Vedas, if you remove any aspect of it, if you don't take it in its totality, then that what you are preaching and following is logically false. Logic, isn't it common sense and logic? Am I teaching you something very, very high, like astrophysics, or I'm teaching you common sense and logic? And then, when those who reject Vishishtadvaita confirm Vishishtadvaita in their interpretation of the Bhagavad Gita, then what does that tell you? You understand, all of you? Why we are stating that Vishishtadvaita is unparalleled, unsurpassed, the original purport of Vedanta. Jai Shri Ramanuj.
Jai Shri Ramanuj.